let's see what joyous fun we can get into today with 8 mods and building out small towns all over this beautiful map. Today, we are building our first official DLC town, and we are starting with the Mass Transit DLC. Let's jump in. As I approach how I'm planning this town, I'm thinking of how I'm going to incorporate all the parts of the Mass Transit DLC. We've got to think about our ferries, our monorails, our cable cars, and even the blimps. I know the blimps aren't everyone's favorite, but I kind of have a fun idea, and I do want to incorporate them because they did come with that DLC. And then the other thing is there is the boat museum, the locomotive hall, and the traffic park. So those are the big things I'm thinking of as I am planning the road layout of this town and just having a plan for how the whole town is going to come together, which I'm very excited about. Let me get some of these main roads in, and then we will really start getting into the details of our town layout. All right, we've established our 2 large collectors through town, which are going to tie in importantly with our monorail. The other thing I really appreciate about this area I've selected for this town is these kind of layers that come in height down to the water, and I'm going to do some terraforming work here and just build out a few tiers, maybe 2 or 3, and think about in the future this is going to be where we're going to have some really nice houses that are going to have this great view of the water and our town across the way. And I think bringing these layers of height and making these kind of tiered plateaus that we can build on when we're ready is going to be a lot of fun. I remember when I first started playing Cities Skylines, and using these tools was really intimidating, and I would just always make giant holes. It would just never work out well. A little tip I have: make a save of the game and then play around, and then if you screw up, you just go back to that last save. No big deal. Okay, I think this is looking pretty good. I'm just going to bring this out just about to here and copy this on the other side. Now, the slope tool is probably one of my most useful tools. It really helps when you've got a little bit of an edge like that. So you can go into your tools, select this one. So you're going to click on the height you want to go to, and then you just drag it. It's actually very easy once you get used to it. So, and then things just are a little bit smoother. So we're going to fix this up and then do this on our other collector road as well. Oh yeah, we're really bumpy here. Okay, let's smooth this out. Not perfect, but it's so much better. I'll take it. Before we get to everything else, I want to clear out our trees. We'll end up putting in our own landscaping as we go along, but I just like to start with a clean palette. I'm actually really excited about this tiered housing here that's going to be facing the water. I think we're going to start there, and then we'll branch out on either side of our town where I have a plan to kind of have a main town square on this side, and the other side will be more of a office financial district, but with, you know, services and things, because this is a bit of a more spread out town than we have on the other side of the water. So I'm just really thinking about how people are going to get in and out of these parts of this neighborhood that is tiered, and I'm looking to make sure that I'm connecting these roads. So just looking at the height, and so we can see that's where I would connect. And then on the other side, the same thing here. So right there. Very good. Okay. I am so excited about this, like tiered housing. I don't know why. So now I'm gonna try to get roads along all of these tiers and see if I can maximize the zoning for future building of homes. Okay, I really like how this came together. So I want to maximize our zoning here. So let's add that in, and we can add one more here. Yeah, I think that's great. Okay, and then the next thing I want to do is, again, use our slope tool, because I'm realizing I do want a second road that's coming right down from the farming area. This is going to play in importantly later on with our blimp. That is not going to happen today. That'll probably happen episode 2 or 3. I'm trying to keep these town builds to 3 to 4 episodes max that we spend on a town. But of course, if you guys have suggestions or feedback, we will hop back in. Like today, we're going to do a few fixes on our first town that you guys suggested. So, you know, we will always be able to hop back in and make improvements as we are building out all these towns. Okay, I am just going to pull this road, I think on this side of the tree line, just using the tree line as a guide. And then just see if we can come, yes, all the way straight down. Actually, that looks pretty good. I'm not upset about that. Okay, and then we can just connect all of these in. And then this is nice too, because then these are no longer cul-de-sacs, which I think is going to be really important for the traffic management. That's a bit of a steep hill, but let's just smooth this out a little bit. You know, hills happen in real life. It's okay. All right, moving on. We've got, this is like going to be our main center of town, where our major town square is going to be. I'm excited for this one because I'm going to do a pedestrian town square. I know that this one is focused on our mass transit DLC, but we are still thinking of our overall design of our towns and using that as our guide. So I do like the idea of having a pedestrian town square. So I'm just getting set up for that here. And then I'm just going to go through organically and see if I can't come up with some really unique road layouts for this town. I really like how this came together. This big space I'm going to leave open. That's going to come into play with our monorail a little later on, but I like this. It feels very unique and connected. Okay, now we are going to come on this side and get our road layout down here. This is going to end up being our kind of financial office district down here. So let me get this put in. All right, I've left those spacings down that area larger because that is, again, where we're going to kind of have our financial districts and bigger buildings. So I want some bigger blocks in that area. But I am so happy with how this road layout came out. You guys have to let me know what you think. Okay, now let's upgrade all of our roads, and that will really help us determine where things are going to go. I have a good idea in my head, but so far as like laying out our bike network, I haven't thought about where that's going to go. But first thing we're going to do, this major collector, we are upgrading to the 4-lane road with monorail, and this is where our monorail in our town is going to go, and I am so excited for it. Okay, next I'm grabbing our bike road with trees. Big surprise, you guys know this is my favorite. So I like to lay out my bike roads first. That way I can clearly see where my bike network is going to be very easily, in contrast of the dirt roads. I'm going to add a road here. Yeah. And then we're going to make sure these bike roads come into what will be our pedestrian square. That makes sense. And I think we'll pull this across this way, and that will connect there. So I kind of like that. It feels a little disjointed, but it's all connected by what will be the pedestrian square. So that will make sense. And then down here, I do want a small little bike loop in this area. Okay, now I'm grabbing our small 4-lane road, which is so awesome that we now have this in the game. It's so exciting. So just grabbing that, and we're gonna pull that all the way down. It did not like me upgrading that bit, so we'll just do that. And then we're just gonna go with a regular road. I'm gonna do a mixture of just the plain basic road that we're used to seeing in the game. Oh, I don't like that. Let's do that a little bit better. We'll do that later. So I'm gonna do a mixture of the basic road, so that way there's parking, and I'm gonna do a mixture of, you know, I love these tree-lined streets for my residential areas. So I'm just kind of really thinking about where I want my tree-lined streets, and then where I want to allow some regular roads that will have parking on them, because I think that's really important as well. So I'm going through and just doing a mixture of that, just really thinking, where am I going to put my residential? And that really helps me with the layout of the town when I go to do my zoning. So I almost always do tree-lined streets where I have like a nicer residential area. I think it's very helpful. But it's also helpful to have ample amount of parking available. So I do like to mix it up versus just having one road style throughout. Okay, and there we go. We've got all of our roads in. This makes me so happy. Oh, we forgot some. Let me get these in. And again, I'm just doing that mixture. So I've got like the regular road that has some parking. And then in the interior, we're doing some nice tree-lined streets for what will be our homes. Very cool. And I really love the chunky pedestrian road for that town square. I think that's going to work really well. And we've left the dirt roads up in the farming area. That will come into play later with something fun with our blimp. Okay, now we need to think about water, sewer, power, and garbage. So let's start with the water first. I really like this hill as a place for our water tower. So I'm going to go ahead and go with the large one. We know this is going to be a larger town. I'm just going to put that up there, and let's get in our pipes under the roads where they belong. Okay, I'm going to try to sneak a little road here next to our water tower, and then utilize this side of the hill for our sewer and garbage. Okay, we have the money for it, so I actually want to go with a solar tower here. I also just think it'll look really nice in this area. Oh yeah, I do like that a lot. Okay, now we need to look at water treatment. We'll go with the larger eco, and then we will get that all tied in. Looks like our town across the way is also running a little low on water and sewer, so we are just going to hook into the whole network here, and that's going to help us keep track of everything in any case. Okay, for now I think we're just going to go with 2 recycle centers, and we can expand on that later if needed. All right, and I like the road maintenance building here. I just feel like it kind of completes this area and ties everything in. Now I want to do a little bit of path work behind all of these just to kind of clean up this area a bit, and also provide a little bit of walkability for people who work in this area. And we're even going to jump in and do a little bit of detailing, and just to kind of complete this little utility complex before we move on. Okay, so I put a lot of thought into where everything's going to go. So right down here, we are actually going to use the Metro monorail train hub. Yes, this one. So this came with the Mass Transit DLC, and I rarely ever see anyone using it. I don't think monorails get used a lot, but I really like this. It has 2 monorail tracks and 2 train tracks, which means we can create a nice bypass for our train, which I think is going to be really great. And then we can tie this right into our monorail, which might be a little tricky, but I think we can do it. And then I like having this. So this also has a metro line underneath it as well. And we're really making this kind of a larger density financial office area, so you can see if people were living in other towns, and you could see this might be somewhere that they would come to work. So eventually we will tie in the metro at some point. So I think I'm going to put this right here so it kind of lines up with that road coming down the center, and then let's just get everything hooked up. So I've just decided to dead end our road into the monorail. At some point when we do expand on the other side of this town, we'll figure out how we want to bring connectivity across the rail, but we won't worry about that today. And then my plan is over here, we're going to bring in a train station, something from the content creator pack. I think would be fun, something with like a bypass. And then I'm going to put in this metro with the bus hub right in our large square that we've left. That's going to be a lot of fun. So let's get this all hooked up. I am so happy with how this turned out. I think this looks really cool. And it's nice because we have our buses right here and we're close to the highway. So I think we'll be able to utilize this bus station when we build out other towns in this area. So I think it's going to work really well. So I was going to leave the build here and then come back in the next episode. But then I realized I really want to get our town named, and we did have a great name suggestion. And remember, the way that we are naming our towns is doing some zoning, and then the first resident that moves in wherever they move in, then we name that house after the person who picks the name and name our town. So I think actually we're going to go a little longer today. You guys said you didn't mind a bit of a little longer episode, and let's start on that financial district down in our corner and get our first resident in and get our town named. Okay, so on this town, I've gone ahead and used the financial for the offices, and we're going to do green cities in this area for the commercial, and then we are going to do some high-rise self-sustaining buildings. I think the mixture of those three is going to look really cool. So I'm just thinking about where I want to place down offices, and I'm going to go through and be really selective on the zoning size of these buildings and lay down some path work as well before we even press play. Okay, and I think I want to lay down some specific zoning where I want some coffee shops. So we'll put one there and we'll put another here. I think that will work. Okay, and we're going to use the medium-sized bank in this area. We are focusing on the mass transit DLC, but we're also really thinking about the overall planning of these towns. And I think this bank is just going to fit in perfectly with this area. So I'm just trying to figure out where I kind of want this. I do kind of want this to be a centerpiece. I want to be able to do some detailing around it. So I think in front of the monorail is going to be the best option for that. So let's go ahead and place this right here. Okay, and I love the texture that's on here. We know this plaza has that texture. I like that together. That looks really sharp. Okay, let's think about the rest of our services. We definitely want police, fire, and medical. So let's put those in. Now I like the post office on this corner, except I don't want to attach to the collector. We want to have it on this road here. That's going to help with future traffic. Okay, now we just need to fit in our medical clinic. Okay, now we get to add in a train line. So we're gonna make sure we go on the inside track there because we have our bypass there and then all the way back. Perfect. Okay, let's give this a name. We're just gonna call this Noob's Line. We're gonna leave it as is so far as the color and the type of trains. We're not gonna worry about that right now. And let's get in our monorail line, which once this town fills out, I do think, remember, we're gonna still have to put our ferry in, and we've left the open spot for our ferry across in the other town. So then I am going to want to add in a monorail stop across from our ferry. So this will end up having maybe 3 or 4 stations along this main collector road eventually. Let's have a little fun here with the name, and let's call it the Noobzorail. That sounds fun to me. Okay, I think we are ready to go. I am so excited. Okay, right now I'm not going to worry about micromanaging what type of building comes in. What I'm doing right now is just letting things grow, and we are on the lookout for that first resident that moves in. Hold up, I think we got a winner. Yes, we do. Let's just verify, but I'm pretty sure we are going to one of these high rises. We've got Brittany here. Yes, she is. Perfect. Well, thank you to Malay in the comments. Your name suggestion of Noobcastle is perfect for this town because we got those tiered layers where we're going to put those kind of fancier homes. I kind of really like this name for the town. So we're going to go ahead and name this the Malay Tower. I think that's going to work really nice. And this is now the town of Noobcastle. Now that that mission is accomplished, I think I want to go through and really kind of be more selective with the buildings that are coming into this area and kind of curate the feel that I want for this part of Noobcastle. Like, these are supposed to be local and organic produce. Clearly, I put the wrong thing on here. So let me fix that, and then we will get to really editing our buildings. I do want some buildings that are taller, but I do want to control the height. I don't want this area to get out of control. And we know with these new financial district buildings, they can kind of do that. So I'm going to take my time with this. Okay, that was a lot, but all of the zoning that I put down has filled in. I really like the look of this area. I like the different levels of height that we had. I do want to check in on our transportation. So I think we could just honestly go with one for right now. It's nice to see some people are using that. We are even getting some use on our monorail, so that's great. Okay, so the thing I want to do is hop over to our first town. So we had some great suggestions to add in. Several people suggested to don't forget to add in the bookstore and a library. So these are two really good ideas, and we have room. So I'm going to add in our little our bookstore right here. I think at kind of the front of the university. I really like that idea. Yes, this one. This was such a good suggestion, guys, so thank you very much. There was a couple of you that were like, do the bookstore. And then we're going to add in the historical library. We do have our large library over there, but I think we could kind of sneak it in right down here. And oh, this is where our bus stop is too, so that's perfect. Oh, that reminds me, someone wanted to see, and I can't remember who, someone wanted to actually see the bus line because I didn't show you guys this. So it just loops around the university and scoops people up and brings them where they want to go. Speaking of transportation, well, it looks like everyone's getting picked up. Let's take a look. Oh, I love how much this is getting used. This is great. I think that's fine. Let's look at our other one here. Oh, we've got everyone kind of jammed up here. What is going on here? Okay, I think maybe we'll do the same thing we did with the other side. And we'll do the 10 buses with the 80. And I think that's going to work out really well. Yeah. So then we have 10 buses on each side of our loop with capacity 80, and look how many people are using our bridge, our like whole pedestrian area with the bike path. I love how our first town came out, but I'm really excited to finish and jump in next week to put in our ferry and keep building out this area. Lots of detail opportunities, and yeah, I'm just excited. I hope you all have a joyful day, and I'll catch you next time.